What should we do, Maharaj?
Can we just move you like 2 feet this way?
Yeah. Okay. You want me to just read Chaitanya-charitamrta?
That would be good.
Okay. Fantastic. Sri Chaitanya-charitamrta ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay. So we are on Adi-lila chapter 10, text 51. And this is the trunk, branches, and sub-branches of the Chaitanya tree. And Kaviraj Goswami is going through the different associates of Mahaprabhu, and I think he's reached branch 20, Haridas Thakur, and then the residents of Kulinagram were a sub-branch of Haridas Thakur. Then the 21st branch was Murari Gupta, who was, of course, attached to Lord Ramachandra, but nonetheless, he was a branch of the Chaitanya tree. And then it describes Maharaj Gupta's nature as a householder, a practicing physician, who didn't take any money for his services. So that was like a standard that Srila Prabhupada sometimes mentioned, that Brahmins, when they serve, they don't take remuneration. So he was a little critical of the modern Ayurvedic physicians who charge so much money, because they're supposed to be Brahmins who are giving to society in service to the Lord. Okay, so verse 51. Shikitsa karena yare haya sadaya deha roga bhava roga duitarakshaya. As Maharaj Gupta treated his patients, by his mercy, both their bodily and spiritual diseases subsided. Jai Gurudev. And so Prabhupada says in a long purport, basically, that in the modern age, there's so many hospitals with so much detailed processes for fixing the body, curing the body of its material bodily diseases, but they're very behind in hospitals to correct spiritual disease. They can't see it. The society has become degraded to the point where they can't perceive the necessity for spiritual rehabilitation. And Prabhupada says, what is necessary is centers that chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and give a diet of prasadam to the practitioners and others who come. This is the necessity of the age, actually. So we're doing like that by the grace of Srila Govinda Maharaj here at Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, West London.
Haribol.
Haribol. So verse 52. Shriman Sena Prabhur Sevaka Pradhana Chaitanya-charana Vinu Nahi Jane Ana. Shriman Sena, the 22nd branch of the Chaitanya tree, was a very faithful servant of Lord Chaitanya. He knew nothing else but the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada says Shriman Sena was an inhabitant of Navadvip and a constant companion of Mahaprabhu. 53. Sri Gadadhara Dasa Shaka Sarvo Party Kaji Gunera Mukha Yeha Adi-lila Hordi. Sri Gadadhar Das, the 23rd branch, was understood to be the topmost, for he induced all Muslim Qazis to chant the holy name of Lord Hari. Story of Gadadhar Pandit. This is Gadadhar Das, which is different, right? Yeah, Gadadhar Das, different than Gadadhar Pandit. In the Gaura Ganadesha Deepika, he is described to be an expression of the potency of Srimati Radharani. Maybe it is Gadadhar Pandit, or is it the same? They just have the same similar potency. So different, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but still, Gadadhar Das has this connection with the potency of Srimati Radharani. Just as Srila Gadadhar Pandit Goswami is an incarnation of Radharani, he is stated to be the luster of the body of Srimati Radharani. Gadadhar Das. Although he was an associate of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he was not among the cowherd boys, but was situated in the transcendental mellow of conjugal love. He established a temple of Sri Gaura Sundar in Katwa. It's a very long purport. Gadadhar Das must be very important in the movement of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. There's a long quote from Gaura Ganadesha Deepika, which I won't cite, but it says, Srila Gadadhar Das is considered to be a united form of Chandrakanti, who is the effulgence of Srimati Radharani, and Purnanada, who is the foremost of Lord Balaram's very dear girlfriends. Thus, Srila Gadadhar Das Prabhu was one of the associates of both Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. So this Gadadhar Das was a very high Vaishnava devotee coming down to assist both Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Generally, it's one or the other, but Gadadhar Das was engaged in service to both. By his order, the deities of Radha, Krishna, which the deity was named Sri Radha Kanta, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu were installed in what is now Calcutta. So powerful preacher Gadadhar Das, the 23rd branch of the Chaitanya tree. Shivananda Sena Prabhur Britya Antaranga Prabhu Stane Yaite Sabe Layena Yara Sangha. Shivananda Sena, the 24th branch of the tree, was an extremely confidential servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone who went to Jagannath Puri to visit Lord Chaitanya took the shelter and guidance from Sri Shivananda Sena. So he'll give some description of Srivananda Sena's service activities. 55. Prativarshe Prabhu Gana Sangete Laiya Nila Chalena Parte Palana Korea. Every year he took a party of devotees from Bengal to Jagannath Puri to visit Lord Chaitanya. He maintained the entire party as they journeyed on the road. So he oversaw the whole traveling of the party, placing them in accommodations, arranging for prasadam, so many things Shivananda Sena was able to do. And what was the size of these parties generally? Like 40? Do you remember? 40 to 80? 200, that much, huh?
I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's what I had.
Okay. So anyway, large party, not an easy thing to do, coming to village and finding accommodations for all these people in the villages. So he was empowered in that way to take care of this. That's what it says in the next verse, 56. Bhakti kripa korena prabhu etina swarupe shakshat avesha ara avirbhava rupe. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestows his causeless mercy upon his devotees in 3 features: his own direct appearance, sakshat; his prowess within someone he empowers, avesha; and his manifestation, avirbhava. Okay. Prabhupada tells us the sakshat feature of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is his personal presence. Avesha refers to invested power, like that invested in Nakula Brahmachari. Do you know that? Nakula Brahmachari? What was his power?
He just was empowered by Mahaprabhu. He was dancing in ecstasy.
To dance and such?
And Shivananda Sena is later described, this is in connection with Shivananda Sena.
Okay.
That he heard people were saying, Nakula Brahmachari is dancing so ecstatically, we just feel like we're in the presence of Mahaprabhu. It just feels that way. And then he had a doubt. Is this really Mahaprabhu or not? And as soon as he had that doubt, Nakula Brahmachari said, Shivananda, come here. He showed that he could read his mind, and then Shivananda was convinced.
Huh. Okay. So Avirbhava is a manifestation of the Lord that appears even though he is personally not present. Aha. For example, Sri Sachimata offered food at home to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he was far away in Jagannath Puri, and when she opened her eyes after offering the food, she saw that it had actually been eaten by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, when Srivas Thakur performed Sankirtan, he felt the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even in his absence. This is another example of Avirbhava. So we'll continue. The next verse is about Nakula Brahmachari. Sakshate Sakala Bhakta Deki Nirvishesa Nakula Brahmachari Dehe Prabhura Avesha. The appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in every devotee's presence is called Sakshat. His appearance in Nakula Brahmachari as a symptom of special prowess is an example of Avesha. No purport. 58. Pradyumna Brahmachari Tanhara Age Mama Chila Nusringananda Nama Prabhu Pachetara Kila. The former Pradyumna Brahmachari was given the name Nisringananda Brahmachari by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 59. Tang Haite Hoila Chaitanyara Avirbhava Aulokika Aiche Prabhura Aneka Swabhava. In his body, there were symptoms of Avirbhava. Such appearances are uncommon, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed many such pastimes through his different features. The presence of Mahaprabhu in the body of, in this case, it seems like it's referring to Nisringananda Brahmachari. Maybe also Nakula Brahmachari, because they were mentioned in two slokas coming before. So, in the Gaura Ganadesha Deepika, it is said that Nakula Brahmachari displayed the powers Avesha and Pradyumna Brahmachari, the appearance of Avirbhava of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It says these symptoms are visible in the body of the Vaishnava. So there's many, many different devotees, and only a few get this kind of empowerment. Srila Shivananda Sena observed such Avesha symptoms in Nakula Brahmachari, who displayed symptoms exactly like those of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The process by which a devotee is thus empowered is called Avesha, or sometimes it is called Shaktyavesha. This is Prabhupada's purport before Srila Sridhar Maharaj is called Shaktyavesha Avatar of Nityananda Prabhu. Presumed that Brahmachari was formerly a resident of a village known as Piyar Ganja in Kalna. There's a description of him in the Adi-lila of both Antyakanda, also of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi-lila of Sri Chaitanya-charitamrta. Asvadila Esaba Rasa Sena Shivananda Vistari Kahiba Age Esaba Ananda. Shivananda Sena experienced the three features of Sakshat, Avesha, and Avirbhava. Later I shall vividly describe this transcendentally blissful subject. Shivananda Sena has been described by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur as follows. Shivananda Sena was a resident of Kumarahatta, which is also known as Halishahara, and was a great devotee of the Lord. About 1.5 miles from Kumarahatta is another village known as Kanchadapada, in which there are Gaura Gopal deities installed by Shivananda Sena, who also established a temple of Krishna Raya that is still existing. Shivananda Sena was the father of Paramananda Sena, who was also known as Puridas or Kavikarnapur. Paramananda Sena wrote in his Gaura-Ganadesha Deepika that two of the gopis of Vrindavan, whose former names were Veera and Duti, combined to become his father. Srila Shivananda Sena guided all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya who went from Bengal to Jagannath Puri. He personally bore all the expenses for their journey. This is described in Chaitanya-charitamrta, Adi-lila. Okay. Shivananda Sena had three sons, Chaitanya Das, Ramadas, and Paramananda. As mentioned above, this last son became Kavi Karnapur and wrote the Gaura-Ganadesha Deepika. So Paramananda became Kavi Karnapur, son of Shivananda Sena. Therefore, we hear in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song how we should always remember the family of Shivananda Sena. And here we're hearing the details behind that request by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that these are all great Vaishnavas, and by remembering them, we bring them into our presence. We sense the beauty of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by the presence of these great Vaishnavas. And we get their help. It's the only way, actually, to take shelter of the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In another song he says, I'm relishing the sound of the names of the Vaishnavas. Okay, just more details about Shivananda Sena's family. And Shivananda Sena traveling on the road to Jagannath Puri. Nityananda Prabhu became very angry, as if he were gradually disturbed by hunger. Thus he cursed Shivananda's sons to die. Shivananda's wife was very much aggrieved at this, and she began to cry. She very seriously thought that since her sons had been cursed by Nityananda Prabhu, certainly they would die. When Shivananda later returned and saw his wife crying, he said, "Why are you crying? Let us all die if Sri Nityananda Prabhu desires." When Shivananda Sena returned and Srila Nityananda Prabhu saw him, the Lord kicked him severely, complaining that he was very hungry, and that's why he had not arranged for his food. Such is the behavior of the Lord with his devotees. Srila Nityananda Prabhu behaved like an ordinary hungry man, as if completely dependent on the arrangements of Shivananda Sena. So this is transcendental exchange going on. And Shivananda Sena is blissfully receiving the kicks. Okay, verse 61. Shivanandera upashaka tara parikara putra bhrityadi kori Chaitanya kinkara. The sons, servants, and family members of Shivananda Sena constituted a sub-branch. They were all sincere servants of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the family is together is a full sub-branch. Sub-branch of which branch, I'm not sure. Maybe of the preceding the 24th branch. Oh, Shivananda Sena is the 24th branch. Okay. And his family, I guess, are a sub-branch of that branch. 62. Chaitanya Dasa Ramadasa Arakarnapura Tinapura Shivanandera Prabhu Bhakta Shura. The three sons of Shivananda Sena, named Chaitanya Das, Ramadas, and Karnapur, were all heroic devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya Das, the eldest son of Shivananda Sena, wrote a commentary on Krishna-charitamrta that was later translated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In his paper Sajjana Toshini, according to expert opinion, Chaitanya Das was the author of the book Chaitanya-charitamrta. known also as Chaitanya-charitamrta, which was written in Sanskrit. The author was not Kavi Karnapur, as is generally supposed. This is the opinion of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Sri Ramadas was the second son of Shivananda Sena. It is stated in the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika that the two famous parrots named Daksha and Vichakshana in Krishna-lila became the elder brothers of Kavi Karnapur, namely Chaitanya Das and Ramadas. So the two parrots descended. Paramananda Das or Puri Das was initiated by Srinath Pandit, who was a disciple of Sri Advaita Prabhu. So that comes into the Advaita branch. Karnapur wrote many books that are important in Vaishnava literature, such as the Ananda Vrindavan Champu, Alankara Kaustuba, Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, and the great epic Chaitanya Chandradoya Nataka. He was born in the year 1488. He continually wrote books for 10 years he was born in 1448, and he continually wrote books for 10 years from 1488 until 1498. So Kavi Karnapur, son of Shivananda Sena, written many books, including this Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, which tells us who was in Vrindavan descending to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who they were in Vrindavan. 63. Sri Vallabha Sena Arasena Sri Kanta Shivananda Sambandhe Prabhura Bhakta Ekanta. Sri Vallabha Sena and Sri Kanta Sena were also sub-branches of Shivananda Sena, for they were not only his nephews, but also unalloyed devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Nityananda Prabhu kicked Shivananda Sena, these two left the company of the party and went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to protest. He asked his personal assistant, Mahaprabhu asked his personal assistant Govinda to supply them prasadam until the party of Shivananda arrived. During the Rath Yatra festival, two brothers were members of the Sankirtan party led by Mukunda. The Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, it is said that the gopi, whose name was Katyayani, appeared as Srikanta Sena. 64. Prabhu Priya Govindananda Mahabhagavata Prabhura Kirtaniya Adi Sri Govinda Datta. Govindananda and Govinda Datta, the 25th and 26th branches of the tree, were performers of kirtan in the company of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Govinda Datta was the principal singer in Lord Chaitanya's kirtan party. Prabhupada says, Govinda Datta appeared in the village of Sukachara near Kadadaha. Whatever that is. 65. Sri Vijaya Dasanama Prabhu Akariya Prabhura Aneke Punti Diache Likiya. Sri Vijaya Das, the 27th branch, another of the Lord's chief singers, gave the Lord many books written by hand. Prabhupada just outlines how the books were all written by hand before there was any printing. Vijay Das was a professional writer who copied many manuscripts and gave them to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 66. Ratnabahu Bali Prabhu Tuila Taranama Akinchana Prabhura Priya Krishna Dasa Nama. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Vijaya Das the name Ratnabahu, jewel-handed, because he copied many manuscripts for him. The 28th branch was Krishna Das, who was very dear to the Lord. He was known as Akinchana Krishna Das. Akinchana means one who possesses nothing in the world. 67. Kola Vecha Sridhar Prabhu Priya Dasa Yahasane Prabhu Korde Nitya Parihasa. The 29th branch was Sridhar, a trader in banana tree bark. He was a very dear servant of the Lord. On many occasions, the Lord played jokes on him. So Sridhar was a poor Brahmin who made a living by selling banana bark to be made into cups. He had some banana tree garden, and Mahaprabhu would often go to him and take his wares, and he would protest. And there was some loving exchange going on in that contact that Mahaprabhu had with Sridhar. And there's a verse from Gaura Ganodesha. Deepika, the cowherd boy known as Kusumasava in Krishna Lila, later became Kolavecha Sridhar during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila at Navadvip. So he was a cowherd boy. So Mahaprabhu played with him in that way. He spent 50% of his income to worship the Ganga, and the balance he used for subsistence. So he lived off 50% of his income, which we know from the story of Rupa and Sanatan, that the income generally in the past was divided 50% to the Vaishnavas, 25% for maintenance, and 25% for saving against emergencies. But in the present age, it's very difficult to meet that. You'd have to have a lot of money, like the Hindujas. Maharaj, you want to say anything, or you want me to keep reading? Huh?
I don't have anything to say. If you'd like to keep reading, please.
Okay. I told you that just by reading Chaitanya-charitamrta, all my aches and pains go away. They really do. If I should just read Chaitanya-charitamrta for the rest of my life, I'd be in good shape. 68. Prabhu Yanma Nitya Laya Toda Mocha Pala Yara Puta Lauha Patre Prabhu Pila Jala. Every day Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jokingly snatched fruits, flowers, and pulp from Sridhar and drunk from his broken iron pot. Prabhura Atipriya Dasa Bhagavan Pandita Yara Dehe Krishna Purve Hoila Adishtita. The 30th branch was Bhagavan Pandit. He was an extremely dear servant of the Lord, but even previously he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, who always kept the Lord within his heart. So many of these, I keep saying this, but so many of these names are names that Srila Prabhupada gave to disciples. So practically all of them. Okay. Jagadisha Pandit Ara Hiranya Mahasaya Yare Kripa Koila Balye Prabhu Doyamaya. The 31st branch was Jagadish Pandit, and the 32nd was Hiranya Mahasaya, unto whom Lord Chaitanya in his childhood showed his causeless mercy. Jagadish Pandit was formerly a great dancer in Krishna Lila and was known as Chandrahasa. Regarding Hiranya Pandit, it is said that when Lord Nityananda, decorated with valuable jewels, was staying at his home, all night long a great thief attempted to plunder these jewels, but was unsuccessful. Later he came to Nityananda Prabhu and surrendered unto him. This goes on at the house of Hiranya Mahasaya. 71. Edui Gare Prabhu Ekadasi Dine Vishnura Naivedya Magi Koila Apane. In their two houses, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu begged food on the Ekadasi day and personally ate it. It says there are restrictions for the devotees, but there's no restriction for the Lord. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the food of Lord Vishnu in his ecstasy as Vishnu Tattva. So it appears there was an offering to Lord Vishnu on Ekadasi in the two houses of Jagadish Pandit and Hiranya Mahasaya, which the Lord took in ecstasy. This is again part of the transcendental exchange between the Vaishnavas and the Supreme Lord. This taking their prasadam. 72. Prabhura Paduya Dui Purushottama Sanjaya Vyakarani Dui Shishya Dui Mahashaya. The 33rd and 34th branches were the two students of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu named Purushottama and Sanjaya, who were stalwart students in grammar. They were great personalities. Inhabitants of Navadvip, the Lord's first companions in the Sankirtan movement, according to Chaitanya Bhagavat, Purushottama Sanjaya was the son of Mukunda Sanjaya, but the author of Sri Chaitanya-charitamrta has clarified that Purushottama and Sanjaya are two people, not one. 73. Vanamali Pandita Shaka Vikyata Jagate Sonara Mushala Hala Dekila Prabhura Hate. Vanamali Pandit, the 35th branch of the tree, was very much celebrated in the world. He saw a golden club and plow in the hands of the Lord. Vanamali Pandit saw Lord Chaitanya in the ecstasy of Balaram. This is described vividly in Chaitanya Bhagavat on Jakanda, chapter 9. So Vanamali Pandit seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while he's in the ecstasy of Balaram, indicating his mood of service. 74. Sri Chaitanya Priya Buddhimanta Khan Ajanma Agyakori Tehu Sevaka Pradhan. The 36th branch, Buddhimanta Khan, was extremely dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was always prepared to carry out the Lord's order, and therefore he was considered to be a chief servant of the Lord. Buddhimanta Khan was very rich, an inhabitant of Navadvip, arranged for the marriage of Lord Chaitanya to Vishnu Priya, the daughter of Sanatan Mishra, who was a priest of the local zamindar. He personally covered all the expenses for the marriage. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was attacked by Vayu Vyadi, derangement of air within the body, Buddhimanta Khan paid for all the requisite medicines and treatments to cure the Lord. He was the Lord's constant companion in the Kirtan movement. He collected ornaments for the Lord when he played the part of the goddess of fortune in the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya. He also went to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was staying at Jagannath Puri. So this is Buddhimanta Khan. Lived in Navadvip, very wealthy, arranged for Mahaprabhu's marriage to Vishnu Priya, and took care of Mahaprabhu when Mahaprabhu showed some sickness, and gave the ornaments of Lakshmi when Mahaprabhu entered into the mood of Lakshmi Devi. So very high Vaishnava, serving Mahaprabhu, providing him with all varieties of service connections. 73. Garuda Pandita Laya Srinam Mangala, Srinama Mangala, Nama Bali Visha Yare Nakarila Bala. Garuda Pandit, the 37th branch of the tree, always engaged in chanting the auspicious name of the Lord. Because of the strength of this chanting, even the effects of poison could not touch him. Garuda Pandit was once bitten by a poisonous snake, but the snake's poison could not affect him because of his chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So pure, powerful chanting, no doubt. 76. Gopinatha Singha Eka Chaitanyara Dasa Akrura Bali Prabhu Yare Koila Parihasa. Gopinath Singha, the 38th branch of the tree, was a faithful servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord jokingly addressed him as Akrura. And the purport says actually he was Akrura, as stated in text 117 of the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika. So Akrura descending as Gopinath Singha. 72. Bhagavati Devananda Brakeshwara Kripate Bhagavatera Bhakti Arta Poila Prabhu Hoite. Devananda Prabhu was a professional, Devananda Pandit was a professional reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam, but by the mercy of Vakreshwara Pandit and the grace of the Lord, he understood the devotional interpretation of the Bhagavatam. So even today there's so many reciters of the Bhagavatam. They have Bhagavat Saptas, and they're professional. They travel throughout India, and people come and attend, reciting it for the full Bhagavatam in 7 days. And they take money, and therefore Prabhupada tells us that these people are not genuine, and oftentimes they convey a Mayavadi interpretation, which Devananda initially did, but then he was chastised, and Vakeshwara Pandit explained the science of Krishna to him, and Devananda was convinced about Mahaprabhu. So he began citing Srimad Bhagavatam according to the Vaishnava understanding. It is described in Gaura Ganodesha Deepika that he was formerly Bhagari Muni, the Sabha Pandit who recited Vedic literatures in the house of Nanda Maharaj. Okay. Devananda Pandit was Bhagari Muni, who resided in the house of Nanda Maharaj, transformed by the mercy of Vakeshwara Pandit from a Mayavadi reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam to a Vaishnava. 78, 79. Kandavasi Mukunda Dasa Sri Raghunananda Narahari Dasa Chiranjiva Sulochana Esaba Mahashaka Chaitanya Kripadama Prema Pala Pula Korde Yahatahan Dana. Sri Kandavasi Mukunda and his son Raghunandana were the 39th branch of the tree. Narahari was the 40th. Narahari Das was the 40th. Chiranjiva, the 41st, and Sulochana, the 42nd. They were all big branches of the all-merciful tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They distributed the fruits and flowers of love of Godhead anywhere and everywhere. Prabhupada goes on to describe how descendants of Raghunandana are still living in a particular village near Katwa, and they're worshipping in a similar way. In Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, it is stated that the gopi, whose name was Brinda Devi, became Mukunda Das, living in Srikant village, and was very dear to Lord Chaitanya. The depth of his devotion is described in Chaitanya-charitamrta Adi-lila. Stated in the Bhakti Ratnakara, 8th wave, that Raghunananda used to serve a deity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Narahari Das Sarakara was a very famous devotee of the Lord. Lochan Das Thakur, the celebrated author of Sri Chaitanya Mangala, was his disciple. In Chaitanya Mangal, it is stated that Sri Gadadhar Das and Narahari Sarakar were extremely dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So how different disciples were connected with also Narottam Das. and their descendants are living in particular villages in Bengal. The Gaur Ganadesha Deepika states that he was formerly Chandrika in Vrindavan. 80. Kulina Grama Vasi Satyaraja Ramananda Yadunatha Purushottama Shankara Vidyananda. Satyaraj, Ramananda, Yadunath, Purushottama, Shankara, and Vidyananda all belong to the 20th branch. They were inhabitants of the village known as Kulina Gram, 20th branch. All right, they lived in the, Kulina Gram was the 20th branch. So they all lived there and belonged to that branch. Vaninatha Vasu Adi Yata Grami Jana Sabe Chaitanya Bricha Chaitanya Prana Dana. All the inhabitants of Kulina Gram village, headed by Vaninath Vasu, were servants of Lord Chaitanya, who was their only life and wealth. So Kulina Gram, very high village filled with devotees, and it's considered a full branch of the Chaitanya tree. Prabhu Kahe, Kulina Gramera Ye Hoya Kukura, Se Mora Priya Anya Jana Rahu Dura. The Lord said, what to speak of others? Even a dog in the village of Kulina Gram is my dear friend. So the dogs are blessed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's okay that I have a pet dog. Sorry. Okay. Kulina Gramira Bhagya Kahane Nayaya Sukarak Charaya Doma Seha Krishna Gaya. No one can describe the fortunate position of Kulina Gram. It is so sublime that even sweepers who tend their hogs there are also chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Doma, sweeper. Shukara, hogs. 84. Anupama Vallabha Sri Rupa Sanatana Eitina Shaka Vrikshera Paschine Sarvotama. On the western side were the 43rd, 44th, and 45th branches, Sri Sanatan, Sri Rupa, and Anupama. They were the best of all. Now, wow. Purport, what? Almost 2 pages. I'll give a little bit of what Srila Prabhupada says. Anupama was the father of Srila Jiva Goswami and younger brother of Sri Sanatana Goswami and Sri Rupa Goswami. His former name was Vallabha, but after Lord Chaitanya met him, he gave him the name Anupama. So also, because he worked in the Muslim government, also he was given the title Mulik. Prabhupada says, our personal family is connected with the Muliks of Mahatma Gandhi Road in Calcutta, and we often used to visit the Radha Govinda temple. That Radha Govinda temple is still there, and it's been since I was there, it was really fixed up by ISKCON, I believe. And the beautiful Radha Govinda deities, which Prabhupada from, a very, very early age always went to see. Prabhupada says, our family Gotra, or original genealogical line, is the Gautama Gotra, or line of disciples of Gautama Muni. And our surname is Day. Okay, Prabhupada goes on to say, Rupa and Sanatana belonged to a particular Gotra, and they were connected to ancient times. They were known as Saraswatas, very high Brahmins, which Sridhar Maharaj was a Saraswata Brahmin, born in that kind of family. And Prabhupada goes into the details about the ancestors of Rupa and Sanatana. Sanatana traveled to Vrindavan, met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Benares, Varanasi, and later Sanatana and later Rupa and Anupama came to Benares, and Mahaprabhu told them about Sanatana's travels. Anupama died in the year 1436, AD 1514. He went to the abode in the spiritual sky where Sri Ramachandra is situated. Vallabha was a great devotee of Sri Ramachandra, therefore he could not seriously consider the worship of Radha Govinda according to the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Here's another exception, along with, who was the other one who worshipped Ramachandra? Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta. So they worshipped Ramachandra. Mahaprabhu didn't try to change that or block it because it was very deep-seated in the heart, that kind of connection with the Lord. We can't quite understand how it works, but some people, stop at a particular position because they become naturally accepted by the Lord and enter into a deep mood of devotional service. So there's so many devotees of Ramachandra, so many devotees of Krishna in Mathura, Krishna in Dwarka, so many devotees in the Vaikuntha planets, of particular Vaikuntha forms, and so many devotees engaged in neutral service as the grass, the trees, the flowers in Vrindavan. So many devotees in the mood of friendship. So many devotees in the mood of vatsalya, parenthood. Who knows the number? We have no idea the number, but yet Krishna manifests himself in such a way so that everyone is contained in the small village of Vrindavan. Everyone is experiencing living in a small village with direct contact with the Supreme Lord, even though there may be billions. When they say billions, they mean it. And the mind can't really accommodate that, but this is Krishna's transcendental power and arrangement, that he can arrange for each devotee to have a particular individual relationship in a very not fancy, not big, not modern place, but in a very rural, simple place. This is the mood of Sri Krishna in Vrindavan. And this is what we're aiming for. In Gauragana Deepika, Sri Rupa Goswami is described to be the gopi named Sri Rupa Manjari. In Bhatni Ratnakara, Bhakti Ratnakara, there's a list of books by Srila Rupa Goswami. All in all, his books were 16, and Prabhupada lists them all. Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu we're familiar with, Ujjvala Nilamani, very high book about the pastimes of Krishna. Stavamala, Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava, also very high. Mahaprabhu praised the writing of Rupa Goswami and directed him to write 2 books, Lalita Madhava and Vidagdha Madhava. It's very high pastimes of Radha and Govinda, which we discussed yesterday, that will be accessible to us when we have necessity for service, to use them for our service. We need to consult how the manjaris are engaging in service so that we can ourselves take that to our heart and engage in service. Until then, there's no need to read for some kind of personal satisfaction or personal tasting of the nectar or getting the bliss, whatever they say. And it's kind of become a bit of a disease amongst my godbrothers and their disciples in certain places, that people are consulting these high books without following the instruction of Saraswati Thakur, who is the most beloved of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami and the most beloved of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Not following his instruction to not touch those books. So we are very lucky that we are not at all touched by that contamination, because Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj made it very clear that going to those books, going to the high pastimes, discussing the high pastimes of Radha and Govinda, until one is completely pure, it's going to contaminate you and bring you down to the material level. And Prabhupada talks about Sanatana Goswami freeing himself from the Nawab government. That's described in Adi-lila. And he gives the details of Sanatana Goswami's escape and reaching Varanasi to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And okay, then in discourses with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord himself explained everything about devotional service to Sanatana Goswami and advised Sanatana Goswami to write books, which Sanatana Goswami did. And Mahaprabhu showed him 61 different angles of vision of the Atmarama shloka in Bhagavatam. Okay, and then Prabhupada lists so many places and temples that were constructed and developed by the Goswamis, particularly Rupa and Sanatana. So I'll do one more verse and then we'll end. Another massive purport. 85. Tanra Madhya Rupa Sanatana Bada Shaka Anupama Jiva Rajendradi Upashaka. Among these branches, Rupa and Sanatana were principal. Anupama, Jiva Goswami, and others, headed by Rajendra, were the sub-branches. In Gauraganadesh Deepika, it is stated that Srila Jiva Goswami was formerly Vilasa Manjari. From his childhood, he was very fond of Srimad Bhagavatam. His books are numerous. Hari Namamrita Vyakyara, Sutra Malika, so many things that are probably in Sanskrit and some in Bengali. Commentary on Ujjvala Nilamani, 7 Sandarbhas, the Krama, Tattva, Bhagavat, Paramatma, Krishna, Bhakti, and Priti Sandarbha. We know the Bhakti Sandarbha goes into details about engagement in devotional service on the level of Vidhi. And then the other Sandarbhas probe into the pastimes and the way in which we can enter into those pastimes. Probably many people try to defame Jiva Goswami by making up stories about him in relation to Kaviraj Goswami. These are not true. Actually, when Jiva Goswami was alive, some of his followers disliked the Parakiya rasa of the gopis. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami, for their spiritual benefit, supported Swakiya rasa. For he could understand that Sahajiyas would otherwise exploit the Parakiya rasa, as they're actually doing at the present time. Unfortunately, in Vrindavan and Navadvip, it has become fashionable amongst Sahajiyas in their debauchery to find an unmarried sexual partner to live with to execute so-called devotional service in Parakiya rasa. Foreseeing this, Srila Jiva Goswami supported Swakiya rasa, and later all the acharyas also approved of it. Srila Jiva Goswami was never opposed to the transcendental Parakiya rasa, nor has any other Vaishnava disapproved of it. Srila Jiva Goswami strictly followed his predecessor gurus and Vaishnavas, Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj accepted him as one of his instructor gurus. So this is a point that may be raised. Prabhupada is just bringing it out so that we could hear it and understand it. It may be raised that, Parakya rasa is too high. This was mentioned by Jiva Goswami, and he supported Swakya rasa, which is, I believe it's in a more marital type relationship as opposed to paramour relationship in Parakya rasa. But the Prabhupada says that Jiva Goswami strictly followed and supported the position of Parakya rasa, but for the benefit of his disciples, he emphasized Swakya rasa because there was so much imitation going on. And I've seen it in Vrindavan many, many years ago. People dressed up as Krishna and the gopis and dancing and so many crazy things that develop as a relationship, in relationship to distorting the message of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj and others. The Goswamis, their books and beautiful high books. People read them, and then naturally they transpose their own material consciousness onto those high spiritual pastimes and get caught up in the material energy and think most insanely that in order to develop and enter into Parakya rasa, they have to imitate it on this level. And so they do like that. This is the bottom of Sahajism. Other Sahajas seem to be following the Vidhi, but are reading these high books. And we know by the instruction of our gurus that that's their destination. If they keep reading them, they're going to transpose their conceptions onto it, and they're going to eventually get entangled in material imitation of the of the high Parakya rasa of the gopis. So very clearly we receive understanding and instruction from our gurus that those things come later. We worship Pujala Ragapata Gaurava Bhangi. We worship that the Raga Marg, the Ragapata, the path of Raga. We worship that from a distance while carefully developing our process of vidhi, of gradually leaving behind the ego and all these things, and understand that Raga Marg is for us when we become free from entanglement in the material energy. It's not like something that we imitate. But the Raga Marg, as applied by Srila Sridhar Maharaj to how the temples work, give emphasis on interpersonal conviction. In the beginning stage, you live in a temple with an organization, and the organization dictates what you do. And you do because you're instructed to do. But in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, we do as we, according to our inner dictate. And we grow in that way by becoming motivated by real connection with our gurus, real transcendental desire. This is what Srila Sridhar Maharaj has opened the door for us to really begin to seriously engage in Krishna consciousness based on our personal conviction to surrender. And so we have apparently more freedom to develop in Krishna consciousness, and we do. But the fruits of such engagement is development through the Madhyama middle stage into the higher stage of Uttama, and the stage of freedom from all anarthas, and the Nishtha level and other levels where we begin to engage in loving service to the Lord. So this is our blessing. And all these great souls have made it clear that Parakya rasa And the understanding of that, the reading of that, has to do with service. It's a particular kind of service. And until we're qualified to enter into that service, no necessity to read about it or study about it. It's too soon. Too much dosage, as Maharaj said. You have to take dosages of medicine gradually, and they take effect in a natural way. Otherwise, if you take too much, you'll overdose, and the body will become sick, or you'll even die. So similarly, our spiritual life is like that. We take our dosage of Krishna consciousness based on the clear direction of our Guru Varga. And luckily for us, we have the clear instruction. So, okay, we'll end here. Jai Sri Chaitanya-charitamrta ki jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Acharya Brinda ki jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi.